favorite piece of Arabic history? I'm waiting. Oh, nice. But this is this person's favorite piece of Arabic history. This is historically. Let's jump in and see what we got.
This video is made possible by War Thunder. Click the link in the description to claim your massive bonus pack and to get started. A while ago, I was researching the longest war ever in history, which spanned more than 700 years and is called the Reconquista.
Oh, I guess, right? You know, a continuous struggle. Yeah, sure. What's going on with my camera? Okay.
A massive war between invading Muslims and Christians on who got to own the Iberian Peninsula. But while researching that massive war, I came across a smaller specific story that honestly felt like it came straight from a movie. Almost like an alternative Lord of the Rings story. A story about a prince with a dream and a mission to revive his slain dynasty. But before I introduce you to that main character in this wild story, allow me to explain the state of the European and Islamic world around the year 700.
700. Obviously, this is the Umayyad dynasty. You can see how far they moved into France right there. There's a little sliver up there at the top of the Iberian Peninsula. This is the spread of Islam, the Islamic conquest. You can see he's hiding parts of the empire, but it is just vast. The fitnas and the splitting will kind of fracture it slightly as it moves from the ninth into the ninth century, where you're going to get the Abbasids. You might I don't remember if the Abbasids come along in the 9th century or the late 8th century. However, what I do know is you're going to have basically you have Europe, which is like France, eventually the HRE, which is going to try to combat the Islamic pressure, but Iberia specifically is such an interesting geography that this is probably the geography alone is probably why it bogs down so much. But I've talked too much. Let's keep going.
So that we are all on the same page. And I'll start with 0. Or actually, I'll start with the intro. Give me 5 seconds.
Okay, so this is the Roman Empire. Okay.
Historically Facts, Part 7. Around the year 0, Jesus Christ was born within the Roman Empire in Bethlehem. Romans did a bad thing and welcomed Christianity into the world. Another thing that Romans were bad at is keeping barbarians from their soil. And the glorious Roman Empire turned in the span of 80 years into half of its original size, with only the Eastern Roman Empire continuing its memories. Around that time, in the year 570, Prophet Muhammad was born in the city of Mecca, and spent his life preaching the word of Allah and uniting the Arabian Peninsula till his passing in 632 AD. With Prophet Muhammad passed on, the 4 caliphs, also known as the closest companions of his, started the Rashidun Caliphate, and quickly expanded the caliphate's borders into the Eastern Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, and African territories. How did they manage to defeat 2 great empires at the same time? Well, the Persians and self-proclaimed Romans had been fighting for centuries because of disputed territory, weakening both sides massively, which was beneficial for the rapidly approaching fresh Arab Empire.
I mean, historians still quarrel around this conversation, right? Because it is basically, how do you defeat the Byzantines and the Sassanids at the same time continuously? And you have, you know, amazing figures that come out of the woodworks that become generals, and they lead armies. And just the art of war is so understudied in this period. But I mean, a lot of them would historians would just chalk this up to that are non-secular, chalk this up to the faith. But at the same time, you have to look at it piece by piece. We did the entire we did a reaction of the entire Islamic conquest, which began in Mecca, and then it spread outward towards the Sassanids, and then up towards the Levant, and then outward. There were really good generals and really good tactics that were deployed by the Rashiduns, and it allowed for just a sweep. Now there were their moment; they did have their moments where they failed a few times, but they netted out pretty well.
Then, internal struggles.
Fitna.
Prophet Muhammad never clearly told his followers who would follow his footsteps as the leader in the Islamic world, which left them
It's just a common succession crisis.
with 4 candidates, also known as the caliphs, who I introduced before. It was quickly decided that those 3 were to be caliph first, and finally Ali as the 4th. This from the start caused a split within the Islamic world and created the Shia and Sunni movement, where the Shia argued that Ali should have been the first caliph and not the 4th one like the Sunni Muslims argue. During the reign of the 3rd caliph named Uthman, unrest was growing and growing to the point where rebels broke into Uthman's home and killed him while he was reading the Quran. This sparked outrage all across the empire and ignited the first Islamic civil war, and the 4th caliph Ali in the role to fix it. Long story short, Ali got assassinated, and the head of the Umayyad family, which were devout Sunnis and a powerful family, became the 5th caliph and started the Umayyad Caliphate.
And notice they moved the capital from Mecca to Damascus.
Alright, cool, we are now getting close to the start of our story, so just bear with me just a little bit longer. The Umayyad Caliphate got bigger and more powerful as the years went on, to the point where they spread from India all the way to the bottom of France. It was a marvelous empire. At least, if you were a prestigious Arab, that is. Any other minority got treatments and taxes that were blatantly unfair.
The jizya.
Huh? But aren't all these guys Arab, says the clueless American?
No, you have Jews, you have Persians, you have so many people. Cosmopolitan. Like, it's a cosmopolitan region just because it's the crossroads of the world.
European? Well, not exactly. This part is Arab. That part is Persian, the people whose empire was defeated by the Arabs. They were mainly Shia Muslims and felt a strong affinity with the assassinated Caliph Ali. And you might have guessed it, the combination of unfair treatment plus religious differences caused these suppressed groups to come together as the Abbasid movement. And they were ready for a revolution. A bloody revolution, that is. The Umayyad Caliph, Marwan II, could feel the rain coming, and rallied up his troops and headed to battle to face off the Abbasid army. However, the Umayyad soldiers were no match for the Abbasids armies, who were fueled with a strong passion for justice for every civilian in the great empire. Almost all the Umayyad soldiers, including the Caliph Marwan II, ended up being killed. But the Abbasids weren't done there. They wanted to bring justice to all the remaining family members of the Umayyad family. And back in the 750s, justice came in the form of death. Remember that scene from Star Wars where they issued
Execute all the 66. Yo, what's going on with his lower half of his body? But isn't this where they fled to Spain
Order 66?
and created their own emirate or empire?
This was exactly the same. Rogue Abbasids agents all across the Caliphate started systematically killing every single member, servant and loyalist of the Umayyad family. And with the Abbasid army marching closer and closer to the city of Damascus, the capital of the Umayyad Caliphate, unrest and the slaughter of the Umayyad family was in full force. And here we find the protagonist of our story, Prince al-Rahman, or as his full name and title goes, Emir al-Rahman ibn Muawiyah ibn Hisham.
Wow. So, of Mawa, of Hisham, I think that's his lineage. I think his name is Amir. And I think al-Rahman, isn't that where he's from? I'm not sure. I think that's right.
Emir means prince, al-Rahman is his name.
Okay, Amir means prince, that makes sense. Abd al-Rahman is, he's literally talking about the taxonomy of his name. Let him talk, not me.
Which means servant of God. Ibn means son of, and Muawiyah is his father, and Hisham his grandfather.
Okay, I was right on the second half. We did a while back through pre-modernness, the taxonomy of the Arabic naming, which was quite insightful and somehow played out to this video.
But for simplicity's sake, we are just going to call him Prince al-Rahman. Despite being a 20-year-old prince, he wasn't in line for the throne. But that didn't make any difference for the Abbasids. Every person Umayyad had to be game-ended. And with Abbasid assassins getting ever so closer, al-Rahman knew fighting wasn't an option. It was time to run.
Fight or flight. We're only on chapter 1. W effort in this video. My God, go subscribe to Historically. Regardless if you did this effort, go subscribe to Historically. Link's always going to be in the description. What a freaking amazing transition this is.
To run. With swords clashing in the hallway, time was of the essence. First things first, the group had to decide where to flee to. Looking at the map, Yahya, the brother of al-Rahman, suggested it made sense to try to outdistance the Abbasids as far as possible, meaning to head westwards towards Palestine. However, Bedr, a freed slaveman and close loyalist of the prince, argued against it, and suggested they should avoid major roads and cities, and to follow the Euphrates River up instead, potentially finding support and shelter along their way. al-Rahman agreed, but that wasn't the only problem they had to tackle. How were they going to escape the city without getting detected? Sure, they could just try their luck and run, but that would mean that he had to leave his 4-year-old son and his sisters behind, something that the prince wouldn't dare to think about. Bedr, once again, being experienced in a simpler lifestyle, came to the rescue. Disguises. Ditch the luxuries and bulking weapons. Cover your faces and only grab what is necessary. Leave the city as merchants. The group agreed and exited through the back door onto the streets of chaos.
Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette. You could have just did this.
With bodies everywhere and unnecessary bloodshed tainting the streets of the fallen capital, the group set off and managed to slip their way out of the grasp of the Abbasids' wrath. For now. Gather the horses. We are going on a hunt. Ah, shucks. Line. But first, we need to talk about the sponsor.
What a freaking... This guy's so good.
But first, we need to talk about the sponsor. That's right. It's Thundering for War, because War Thunder sponsored us. Yeah! War Thunder is literally the most comprehensive vehicle combat game available for free on PC and console.
Such a great transition. We're watching the ad.
Command over 2,500 different tanks, planes, helicopters and ships from 10 major nations. Featuring everything from 1920s biplanes and armored cars to modern fighter jets and main battle tanks. Dive into War Thunder's intense combat with highly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics and authentic sound effects that make you feel like you are controlling the most powerful war machines ever built. And with realistic damage to individual components, blowing up enemies has never felt this satisfying before. If you want to try it out, use my link in the description to get 3 premium vehicles, a 50% experience and income booster, 2 vehicles to rent, 100,000 silver and 7 days of premium. This offer is only available for a limited time though, and only for those who are new or haven't played for 6 months. With Damascus behind them, the group was far from safe. The Abbasids, now in control of the capital and
all the way to what is that, mid-Algeria?
The Caliphate, renamed the empire to the Abbasid Caliphate, which all but the western provinces around Spain and Morocco complied with. There was no more going back to the realm and luxury that the two princes were a part of. At the time, the group didn't know it yet, but they were the last remaining Umayyad blood alive in the entire Caliphate. Everyone else had been murdered.
Jeez.
The group, exhausted both mentally and physically, arrived late that day in a small village to rest up and prepare for the final stretch towards the river. The townsfolk, seemingly sympathizing with the prince and its cause, offered them a couple simple but warm tents for them to rest in. At last, after a traumatizing day, the group could finally close their eyes and sleep. But not for long.
Oh no.
My lord, they found us.
No! Stay back! Gordon! Ah!
Wake my brother. I need to find my son. Oh no. No, my lord, if we die here, the bloodline dies with us. We have to go. And with pain in their hearts and no other choice, the trio left the village, leaving the rest of the group to its fate.
Imagine, man. That's horrible. Rock bottom, yeah. Yeah, they are sad. This is horrible. He should have, instead of put chapter 2, he should have did level 2. I get it.
Just to clarify, each one of the left behind family members got killed that night by the
Thanks.
Abbasid hunters. Gosh, these Abbasids really are horrible, aren't they? Well, if you're an Umayyad, yeah, but for the rest of the people, they really weren't that bad.
They were probably liberators, right?
As a matter of fact, the Islamic Golden Age happened in the Abbasid Empire.
Yeah, that's just the problem though. Like, it's always about the POV, the perspective. Like, who are you? Everyone has created bloodshed, right? There's no country or peoples that has not done some bad. I mean, we watched a video by JJ McCullough, and I mean, there's a couple Polynesian islands that you could possibly argue for, but it depends how far back you want to go, right? Every peoples have had ancestors that had done something.
So, thank you, Abba. Very cool. For killing my son. And 3 sisters. If we take a look at the magically updated map, we can tell that the situation is worse than I thought it was. Damascus has completely fallen, and the Abbasid armies are spreading out and taking down the remaining rogue soldiers. You might be thinking, why don't they just hop over into the Eastern Roman Empire and look for shelter there? Well, remember when the Arabs took half of their already halved empire? Yeah, they still didn't forget about that one. Speaking of forgetting something, it seems like the Abbasid hunters are here to finish the job. With nowhere else to go, the trio made a desperate run for the river and threw themselves into the water. The Abbasid hunters wore heavy clothing and armor and were on horses, thus in no shape for crossing a river. But neither was Yahya. al-Rahman was always an athletic type, and better being a freed slave, naturally is used to do demanding physical tasks. But Yahya was more emir than swimmer. The three desperately started to swim to the other side, but the deeper into the crossing they went, the stronger the current. If only I could just not cross or something. If you come back, we promise we won't kill you. Alright, that's it, I'm going back. What are you doing, brother? Hurry, we can't go back. Just last night, they killed our sisters and my son. You can't trust them. Bro, relax, they promised. Surely they wouldn't break that. Oh. What a dumbass. You reckon it would work again? Doesn't hurt to try. Hey, I know we just killed your brother and all that, but if you come back, we won't kill you. And so, al-Rahman swam back, became best friends with the murderer of his entire bloodline, and the Arab countries would never be in another war ever again. Is what the prince wished he could believe, but better going far beyond his pay grade, pulled him away from the river, and
But there's no way he considered it unless he thought that all hope was lost. Might as well, right?
the two of them ran like their lives depended on it.
Yes, it did.
Which it did. The two kept running and running, till there was no more land to run on.
Straight.
I guess this is it, huh? Is it though? Better. I am the last one of the Umayyad clan. Everyone else is dead. They count on me better. I can't just give up and accept my fate or hide in exile. For Allah's sake, what do you think my son would say if he saw me surrender? Why do you imagine me as a little baby? Probably nothing good. Listen, as much as I want to cry and weep in a hole, which, believe me, I really do, I still can't. At least, not so
This is peak.
we have delivered justice. Here, give me your map. 40 years ago, my great-grandfather, Al-Walid I, led a massive invasion on al-Andalus and conquered almost everything of the peninsula. If there's one place we can go to for support, it has to be there. I heard the local governor there has been trying to establish his own rule in defiance of the Umayyad family, which means it's very likely he also won't give in to the Abbasids. We cross through Africa, rally up an army, defeat the governor, and conquer back our empire that the Abbasids have taken from us. It will be a long and treacherous journey. The Abbasid horsemen and Mr. Scarface won't stop till we escape their lands. Not to mention the many Berber tribes we will come across, and who will be anything but friendly. Better we freed you from slavery, and your debtors be more than repaid. If you want to leave, I understand. I will never leave you, Mr. Frodo. Thanks, Sam. Alright then, let's rest our legs and dig in for another night. As tomorrow, we start our quest to defeat the governor and declare war on the Abbasid Empire.
Oh my god. Before oversimplify uploads. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh my goodness, this is a great video. I can't wait for part 2. Let me know if part 2 is already out. This was an epic. This is like a movie. We're gonna watch every single historically video, so let me know which one we should react to next. Thank you guys so much for being here. Peace out and bye bye.